Hey guys, Todd Romano with Speed here tonight, and taking the time to bring you guys some updates on where we are. We'll give it a few minutes to check in, make sure everyone gets on board. We're actually starting on time, which is awesome. And I'll just share with you a little bit what we're doing. You know, I have a bunch of information on where we are on product, on where we are on overall the timeline, but I want to walk you through some neat stuff that's going on these days, and take a second to look back at some interesting stuff that just happened. You know, I've been very fortunate over the years to have some great friends and relationships in this industry, and I don't know how many of you got to watch Travis Pastrana go up Mount Washington this weekend and set a new world record, and you know, get to see friends do some amazing things. And you know, this industry we're in has allowed us to see and do a lot more things than most people have access to, and to be able to enjoy this type of industry, which has its risks, its rewards, and then take that into a business and give you guys the same opportunities with our vehicles, is really engaging. So I want to reach out to my buddy Travis and give him huge props on what he did in Mount Washington this weekend. Second thing is Best in the Desert, Vegas Arena this weekend. A horrible loss in that race for a family, and just want to reach out for them. You know, our thoughts and prayers are with them. You know, racing has its risks, and even when you do everything right, unfortunately, those risks can have its consequences. All of us have paid the price from racing in some form or fashion, and unfortunately, the worst happened this weekend in Vegas Arena. So, reaching out to everybody that was involved and got to do it. Otherwise, it was a spectacular race, and props to the guys in the UTVs. I know a good friend of mine, Ricky Johnson, got to race in my World Championship Wildcat Double X, and was psyched to see him come from behind and ended up finishing 7th. And I think he started like 40th and drove through the night with Chris Cassidy's son, Cassidy. Chris Cassidy owns Carson City Motorsports, and they did a phenomenal job. First time out there racing to take that car, flawless, zero issues, just a lot of dust. And due to the 3-hour delay at the start, they ran through the night. So pretty amazing what they got to do. But I also want to give you an update on where we are and what we've been doing as we prepare to bring these cars to market. You know, one of the things that's really important is the back of house, and we get a lot of questions, and so I want to answer as many as I can. So one of the things I've been asked is, hey, can I get a VIN number today? I want to see if I can get my financing done. We'd love to issue VIN numbers, but the last thing I want to do is give you a VIN number, and when your car comes, the VIN number changes because of whatever happened in logistics, or you know, the way we print VIN numbers at the end of the day and MSO. So as much as I know the VIN numbers on all cars because they end with the master numbers, until I print that and it goes down the assembly line, I really don't want to assign VIN numbers and have people down the road have confusion with their banks or lending institutions. So as much as we'd love to do that today, we're going to hold off on that. Couple things that we are doing too, because as we get ready, warranty and making sure the warranty process is in place, we started with developing our own software to manage our CRM, and that will manage all our customer service, our microfiche for parts lookup. Our dealers will have access to it, our consumers will have access to it, and allow everybody the ability to understand everything that's inside their car, how it's worked on. Video tutorials we're starting to build. All these different pieces are starting to come into play. And I think that's a critical part. So I want to give my staff and the companies we're working with some props on that. You know, we switched over, you know, as a small company, started on QuickBooks, and we're moving over to NetSuite. That's a huge undertaking. You know, I'm happy we're doing it today and putting a great accounting software in place than waiting and then switching it. I had a great conversation with a friend, my buddy Rob Stock was the founder of Santa Cruz Bicycles. I've been fortunate enough to race for them for the last decade, and he just shipped me my new, if you guys haven't got to see the new Bronson, that's a split wheel. I helped design that split wheel, running a mullet setup on that bike, and he shipped me my new bike. And because of their Oracle software that they spent $15 million on transitioning over, he couldn't ship me my bike because the name and address was different, and he had originally put the name under his. So having software in place, having accounting systems in place, building the CRM to manage our warranty, our dealer network, building the dealer network, all the things we're doing is going to make this to customer experience is going to be, you know, hopefully at the highest level. And that's our goal, not just that the car outperforms expectation, but the the attention to detail supporting our customer from delivery to after support, understanding warranty, how to work on your own car, how to take it to the dealer. So we're working through all those different pieces. I am not the most computer savvy person when it comes to publishing all the different FaceTime stuff. So what I'm going to do while I have this up, I have a second computer. I'm going to put up the presentation into the Speed UTV Face Group Facebook page, so you can see tonight's presentation, and shows you some imagery on where we are in the assembly line, and allows you to really get to understand how far along we're getting with these cars, the amount of chassis we're building, the amount of parts we're building. And I hopefully when you get to see this, and I apologize that I don't know how to stream it live as I'm talking to you, but you can go through this post later, but I'll walk through the different things, because what we got to do is not just put in the presentation the different products, we've also put in the presentation where they are on the car, so you can actually see a little bit more of what we're doing every day to get this car finalized and make it what it's supposed to be. So I'll do my best to put this in here and allow you guys to follow along. But every single day we get a little further along in getting the robot welders in place. We get a little bit further along. That's funny, I can't launch a PDF. I'll make sure, Daniel, if my guys in engineering have the ability to put that on Speed UTV's page, please put it up, because unfortunately I can't post it from what I'm doing today. But I'll read along on it, and unfortunately I don't have it up, but I'll share with you what's really unique on this, and it tells you all the different things we're having to do. We have 45 welding stations in place now to assemble chassis and components, and when you're trying to produce 2,500 cars a month, it's amazing to put that many welding stations. We have all our robot welders right now running 24/7, and just constantly trying to advance the timeline of how long it takes to weld production arms. We posted production arms a couple times this week, and the robot working, and the goal is to just keep moving that along at a rapid pace. But as we're doing it, we're not throwing the arms away. These all are become production arms, and the piles of arms are stacking up as we go. The piles of chassis are stacking up, components are stacking up. So as soon as we get this loaded, and if after the meeting, after the presentation, I get it loaded for you, it'll be neat for you to follow along and just see from the front bulkhead to the lower chassis tubes, the cages, the rear hangers and everything. It's all here, and how the car is broken up into pieces. But we keep moving along on it, and much faster than what I could have thought someone could produce. When you see pallets of engines and pallets of clutches, and interesting enough, though, I'll share you some things that you learn as you go down the road. So you go produce an engine comes out of a casting, and then you have a forging that has to go into that casting. And when you do that, when you get that forging that plays a role, then you actually have to do some machining. You might have to put a sleeve in it and then machine the heads. You could add the valve train to it and machine the pockets and the seats. So you have multiple ops that happen as you take this finished good. So you get to come down this process of sand cast products, machine parts that have to go to the different finishing stations. And then what you have to do, which is even more things, you have to build all these check fixtures. So you build all these fixtures to design a car, but then you have to build a check fixture, because as you weld, even though you're in these fixtures, things pull, welds pull, things come out of alignment. So at everything we do, you have to be able to then double check it. So we're building all the check fixtures to say our cage is true to the upper cage is true to the lower cage. And I don't know how many of you ever took a cage off a UTV. Back in the Rhino days, I built hundreds and hundreds of cages a month with Dragonfire Racing, and it was pretty amazing. But we got phone calls all the time. Cage doesn't fit the car, and we had check fixtures on all our cages. But we built a cage based off a couple different Rhinos we had. But every Rhino was different. So you saw guys with ratchet straps and stuff, trying to make sure that they could attach the cage. And if you undid the bolts, the cage would spring on them. And if you've ever taken cages off the new Polaris and Can-Ams, if like a 4-seat Can-Am, if it's not on floor jacks when you take the cage off, the chassis actually flexes down. So we have our structural integrity on the lower chassis is you don't need to ever have to do what happens with some of these other brands, but it's really neat to be able to know that as that chassis goes down the assembly line, it gets a check fixture, and then at the exact same time, the cage has a check fixture, and then all of them just bolt together, and that's the only way to really expedite the process of what we're doing. Little by little, these things are happening, and as our team is in Charlotte is trying to do some really neat stuff for Sand Sports, building our first true race car, so we can to show the consumer what the race car version will look like, as well as the production cars that are coming off the assembly line. We work towards that goal every day, and a lot of people ask, when are we going to go to market? They want to go make sure they don't miss the season. They want to make sure does it fit in their toilet? All these different pieces, and we try to answer those every day. And for some reason, this forum gets its answers, another forum does not. So I'm going to try to revisit that again tonight. Production cars, we're there, right? We're building the parts, we're building the cars, and those cars we are double checking everything that we had done in the past. And when we tested the production parts, the clutch was a liability for us, and we got through that, and now we have a phenomenal clutch. You see the clutch covers with the ability to add additional exhaust fans on them to make them even more performance. But to make sure all those things now in a production car test out, that's what we're going to go do. And we feel confident that the production parts are good, but you still have to double check. Do we have something zip tied wrong? Do we have the turbo too close without heat shield? And does that everyone chases noise harmonic stuff, NHV it's called, I believe. So is it too loud in this area? Do we need to put sound deadening? So we're going to go through those different things as we do our final tests, and I'll come right after Sand Sports. We'll try to get these production cars into the desert and make sure we're happy with them, and then it's go time. And luckily, as we're building now, we're already building for go time. The piles of parts are adding up, and we don't have a situation where we have to change a component, but we might have to tweak something in a tooling or something down the road. We've caught a little of that during assembly, but nothing that's slowing us down. So, I'd love to give you definitive dates. I'd love to tell you people are going to have cars by Christmas, or depending on your master number. We got cars now that people bought cars before the price went up last weekend. I don't think those people will see cars till March or February. I mean, there's a lot of cars. They have a lot of great fans and a lot of loyal customers, so I appreciate everything. I do get a lot of questions, and I'll try to answer this. This Facebook page is our page. We also have a Facebook group page, Speed UTV, and we have a lot of followers on that. And my focus initially when I started this company with Robbie was to make sure we were always communicating and always being part of the family that we're building. And excuse me, and they're in that launching of these pages, you got to manage what gets said and what is publicly correct to be said. You can have negatives, and you can have people that aren't supporters, but there's also some stuff that is just inappropriate for what we consider the Speed family. So as that progressed, I just turned on Facebook automatic to limit things that were gone. If you're advertising on our page, that doesn't come up anymore. If you're using a little gallery, it doesn't come up anymore. But at the same time, there was enough drama on our page that Facebook put their own policies in place. So I'm looking into making sure we can have as much communication on our pages as possible, but there's also other pages out there that people can pivot to and have conversation. If you're a Speed UTV owner, there's a Speed UTV owners page that you have to prove you have an owner. But there's all these different things that you can go do, and I think Robbie and myself and even our engineers are always pretty accessible. We reply to as many emails as we can, and I think our guys. The reason I took tonight is our guys are working 24/7 to make sure we exceed our own expectation, which is far greater than yours. So, Robbie and the group, they've had some exhausting weeks, and I thought it was nice enough for them to hand me the ball, and I think I talk a little bit more about what we do and what I get to do for this business is quite different than the guys in the shop. I get the luxury of or maybe not the luxury of traveling and visiting dealers and running the operations side for the company, and Robbie and the team and building some of the best technology out there. And I appreciate everybody's support. I'm going to make sure we get that post up for you, and I thank you for tuning in. As soon as that post gets up, and if it doesn't, there'll be a lot of images up tonight that I think we need to watch. So thank you for your time, and I look forward to seeing everybody in about a month with Sand Sports, and as we progress over the next couple of weeks, without ruining some of the surprises that we want to present, especially on the race car itself. We'll try to get up as much as we can. I did talk earlier in regards to some of the technology we're putting, our new CRM, as well as switching it over to NetSuite. So our website at midnight tonight will go down, and I'm guessing it will be down through the weekend. And I just got a text that the presentation is up on the site as well. But so if you do try to get to our site, don't be discouraged. We are just updating it and integrating it. So all the orders that have been coming in for the last 12 to 15 months that our staff has been manually entering, we are now using an API integration and a CRM set for that will take that data that was entered into the online site and bring it into our CRM and then distribute it into both POs to vendors. It will distribute it to our accounting software. Our different warehouses can track inventory now. So all the different things we're putting in place will require the site to be down for probably, I know it won't be down past Sunday because that's all I allowed. So all day Friday, Saturday, Sunday, if the site's down, please stay on our social media. We'll update you as it goes. And if you have any questions, I'll try to respond to Facebook's posts here after I terminate the post tonight. And I'll just stay on and answer as many questions as I can that aren't redundant and that I didn't already answer in this live feed. So please stay on the page, look through what Daniel just put up, and I thank you all for watching. And please reach out to me directly. I apologize that I am rather busy, so if I take my time to get back to you, I apologize. But looking forward to meeting you all again in Sand Sports. And cheers. And once again, my condolences to the family from Vegas to Reno, and cheers to my buddy Travis for setting a new world record. You guys have a great evening.